The Kriss Vector is one of the strongest guns in Battlebit's Remastered right now. It's got one of the fastest fire rates, virtually no recoil, and a quick ADS. But let me show you how to make it even better. Alright, first let's look at the Vector stats with no attachments. It's got an incredibly low recoil, semi-quick reload speed, and a pretty fast aim down sight speed. So where can we improve? We don't need to focus on attachments to make our recoil better, because it's already so low. It won't make much of an impact. Instead, let's try and improve the reload speed even more and focus on accuracy and staying quiet. Now I'm going to show you two different vector builds, for two different playstyles. An aggressive playstyle and a defensive playstyle. Let's start with the aggressive playstyle. First, let's just pick a sight. Now, obviously, this is a more personal preference and what you're most comfortable with using. I usually use the red dot sight, what I'm most comfortable using and what I prefer. However, the Razor is also a good option that I like to use from time to time when I want to change things up. But normally I just use the red dot sight. It's clean, out of the way, easy to see. Next, let's look at the side rail. Obviously, this is completely optional. You don't have to use anything on your side rail, but I use the red laser. You can also use the green laser. I just like the red more. For situations when you need to hip fire, the Vector has a really good hip fire accuracy at close range, and my spot has almost never been given away by the laser, so you don't need to worry about people seeing it and knowing where you are. I don't think anyone ever notices it. Pretty low key. You don't have to use a side rail. Now let's look at the underbarrel. The aggressive playstyle is going to be using the B25 URK because it drastically reduces your reload speed and also increases your draw speed, so it's quicker to pull your gun out when you're swapping to it. The B25 URK is the only grip pretty much that will reduce our reload time like this. So if you don't have it unlocked yet, you can go with like the stubby grip, which will still increase the draw speed so you can pull your gun out faster and reduce your recoil just a little bit. But there's not many other options, so until you get this, just use the stubby grip. B25 URK doesn't take that many kills to unlock. You should be able to get it pretty early on. Now let's look at the barrel. Barrel, preferably you're going to use the Osprey 9 so that it's really quiet so people can't hear you as well, so it's harder for them to locate where you are. This will also increase your accuracy by quite a bit, so it's nice in that regard as well. However, the Osprey 9 is I think one of the last barrels you unlock. It takes a good amount of kills to get. So if you don't have the Osprey 9 yet, you can go with either one of the other suppressors, which will still make it harder for your enemies to locate you and also increase the velocity still, even more than the Osprey 9 actually. However, you do take a hit on recoil, but like I said before, that doesn't really matter because the Vector's recoil is virtually non-existent. However, if you don't have either of these suppressors unlocked yet, still early on in your Vector kills, you can go with the basic barrel. This will increase your velocity and it won't impact your recoil in a negative way. There's not very many other options that are very much worth it. If you have the SDN6 unlocked and not either of these suppressors, you can use that. That will reduce your horizontal recoil. It'll increase your velocity and also increase your accuracy. This would be like the third best option after this being the second, and the first obviously the best option. So just try and get that Osprey 9 unlocked as quick as possible and swap to that as soon as you get it. And now let's look at the magazine. Obviously we're going for a quick reload time. This is the aggressive playstyle. You want to be able to reload fast and not have to worry about hiding for very long to reload so you can go back into killing people you're pushing. Now here is the Kriss Vector with all the attachments to an absolute beast with one of the fastest times to kill and one of the fastest reload speeds. So let's look at what we're changing for the defensive playstyle. Now we're only changing two things for the defensive playstyle. The magazine will swap to a drum mag. This will give us 60 rounds, which is a lot. You can get quite a few kills out of 60 rounds. Now we're going to be playing a defensive playstyle with this. So this is going to obviously increase drastically our reload time. It's going to make your reloads a lot slower. But it's also going to affect your recoil by quite a bit, which still doesn't matter as much, but it does make a difference when you do use the drum mag. So now with that drum mag, we're also going to be changing the underbarrel to the SE5 grip. The B25 URK is still good in this setup, but we don't really need that faster reload speed. It doesn't make much of a difference with the drum mag, because it's still going to be a slow reload no matter what. And when you're playing a defensive playstyle, you should have a lot more opportunities to take cover and reload and have more time to do that. You're not going to be pushing up on people in hot situations and need to reload quickly. So when you're holding down a position, you'll be able to take cover a lot easier and reload. So you don't need to worry about that reload speed as much now. However, with the SE5, we'll kind of counteract that recoil hit we take a little bit, and also that control hit we take a little bit. So the SE5 is going to be the best option for when you're running the drum mag. And that's the only thing really changed with the defensive playstyle. It's basically a one-man army for holding any position down from the enemies. Now, I also kind of want to talk a little bit about what class I use when I'm using the Vector. I play the Engineer because the RPG is a really nice kind of mid to long range weapon whenever you've got a sniper on a roof or in a window that you can't really kill with the Vector, because obviously it's an SMG and you're not going to be sniping with it. You can just fire a rocket up there and either kill him or at least get him to hide for a minute so you can kind of get out of his line of sight or get out from the cover you were behind that he had you trapped on. So I like to use the RPG for that. Just a regular heat explosive RPG. I don't really use the other ones very much. The ones with the scopes, I don't really like the scopes as much. They're not as fast as the iron sights. For the secondary, I just use the MP443 with a suppressor and a red dot, and I think a laser, no, a flashlight. That's obviously all completely up to you. You can use whatever you want for your pistol. You don't have to pull it out too often, but it does come in handy to have a pistol that you like to use, that is nice and you're comfortable with using, because there are times when, especially on the aggressive playstyle, when you run out of ammo and there's an enemy pushing you right that second, you don't have time to reload. You can just pull this out quickly, try and kill them with it. For my primary gadget, I use C4. It's nice for blowing holes through buildings if you don't want to try and run outside the building and then back into the other building. Especially if the buildings are connected, this makes it really easy for you to change positions inside the building without having to run around a lot. It's also handy if you do happen to come upon a vehicle that has no idea you're there. Throw two or three of these things on there and you can blow it up easily. For throwables, I use the anti-vehicle grenade. I use this mainly because you just get so many of them. You get more of these than any of the other grenades, so you can spam a lot of these just to suppress somebody from pushing or from peeking you so you can move. They're really nice for that, and then sometimes you'll get to use them on vehicles that are just sitting still, not moving. And that's pretty much it. Obviously your class and your gadgets and your secondary are all up to you. They're all up to how you want to play and what you like to use the most. But the Vector itself, these are the best attachments you can use for both playstyles, aggressive and defensive. If you liked this sort of guide on the Vector, let me know down below what other guns you would like to see guides on. I've been leveling up quite a few of them. I got every weapon unlocked right now, so I can level up any weapon you guys want and put together the best attachments I can for it and show you. Obviously, I really appreciate it if you give it a like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.